Hello everyone, my name is Biswajit Kumar. I am a first year BTech student at CV Raman Global University, Odisha. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are here again to talk about a social issue which is the right to freedom of speech. As you all know, we have introduced you to our topic that is the right to freedom of speech and state the problem and their respective solutions in the previous two videos. Today we are here to elaborate about the most efficient solution and present a case study that will justify its necessity for the people of our nation. Getting into the video, the problem that we'll be dealing with today is criminal defamation that the journalists in our nation have been facing every now and then. We have already talked about the problem briefly in second video. Without wasting any more time, I would like to introduce you the first speaker of the day, Rohit Roshan, who will be giving you a glimpse of what we are going to do in this video.
Thank you, Sujit, for calling me. Hello, everyone. My name is Rohit Roshan, and I am here to introduce you to the topic. As we all know, the violation of freedom of speech is highly prevalent in major portions of India. It has not been prioritized as a demand of the hour by any higher authorities who work for the welfare of the commoners, be it any household or any broadcasting medium. Its violation can be seen everywhere. Though the violation of freedom of speech is very frequent in the informative media, there has not been adequate awareness amongst a majority of people, and the remaining population with better understanding of fundamental human rights are either suppressed by ruling authorities or are fearful to take a stand for themselves. It's very often that we hear cases of physical harassment, violence, and mental abuse against media workers when they dare to speak against the current ruling party of the state, even in instances where the defamatory statement can be proven to be true. Criminal defamation laws are open to abuse and are one of the leading reasons that journalists are in prison around the world. Now I shall call upon our next two speakers, Shreya and Ritu, to present a case study related to our topic.
Thank you, Rohit, for calling us. Hello, everyone. My name is Rituparna Gupta.
And I am Shreya Chaudhary.
And now we are going to present a case study which has occurred recently to an editor guild based in Shillong.
Patricia Mukim is the Padma Shri awardee and editor of Shillong Times. The case started after Mukim, in a Facebook post in July 2020, demanded legal actions against a group of youth who allegedly assaulted 6 non-tribal youths playing basketball in Lawsotton.
Mukim tagged Chief Minister Conrad Sangma and wrote on Facebook that the incident was unacceptable. The attackers, allegedly tribal boys with masks on, should be immediately booked. This continued attack on non-tribals in Meghalaya, whose ancestors have lived here for decades, some having come here since the British period, is reprehensible to say the least.
The fact that such attackers and troublemongers since 1979 have never been arrested, and if arrested, never penalized according to law, suggests that Meghalaya have been a failed state for a long time now, she added.
She also wrote, "What about the Dorbar Snong of the area? Don't they have their own ears and eyes to the ground? Don't they know criminal elements in their jurisdiction? This is the time we rise above community interests, castes and creeds and call out for justice."
Following this, Lushai Shaila, the headman, and Bangra Cooper Shotun, secretary of Dorbar Snong of Lawsotton, claimed that Mukim's Facebook post incites communal tension and may instigate a communal conflict, which may spread to the state, and lodged an FIR against her.
She was subsequently booked under Section 153A, promoting enmity between different groups of people based on grounds of religion, race, place of birth, residence, language, etc., and other provisions of the Indian Penal Code.
Now, we would like to call upon our next speaker, Irfan, to continue the case study.
Thank you, Sharia, for calling me. Hello, everyone. My name is Irfan, and I am going to brief you all about the verdict given by the High Court to Mukim's appeal. So, Mukim in November last year approached the Meghalaya High Court to quash the complaint against her. However, the court refused to do so and said investigation agencies should be given a free hand to probe the matter. In the event, the investigating agency is required to be given a free hand to investigate the matter and to come to its own conclusion in due process of law. Consequently, I find no merit in the instant petition for exercising power under Section 482 CPRC. This petition is accordingly thereby rejected. Justin W. Dildo said the court had said that Mokim's post attempts to make a comparison between tribals and non-tribals vis-a-vis their rights and security and the alleged tipping of the balance in favor of one community over the other. This, the High Court opined, would fall on the mischief of Section 153A IPC, as it apparently seeks to promote disharmony or feelings of enmity, hatred, or ill will between two communities. Now I am going to call upon our next speaker, Om Prakash.
Thank you, Irfan, for calling me. Hello, everyone. My name is Om Prakash, and now I am going to brief you all about the verdict given by the High Court to Mukim appeal. However, the Supreme Court allowed the appeal filed by Mukim against Meghalaya High Court and squashed the FIR that was filed against him. The bench comprising Justice L. Nageswar and S. Ravindra Bhatt stated that free speech of the citizen of this country cannot be shifted by implicating them in criminal cases. The analysis of the Facebook post written by Mukim shows that no case of hate speech is made out, the apex court said. It added that India is a plural and multicultural society and the promise of the liberty entries in the preamble manifests itself in various provisions which outline each citizen right, including the right to speech, to travel freely and settle throughout the length and breadth of the country. Now I shall call upon Sanskar to give the conclusion of our case study.
Thank you, Om Prakash, for calling me. Hello, I am Sanskar Kumar, and now you will hear from me about the conclusion of this case. Reacting to the decision by the Supreme Court, Mukim wrote on Facebook, "So grateful for this ruling. I owe a debt of gratitude to Vrinda Grover and her team and Kaustav Paul. At last, Mukim resigned from the guild, saying that the Editors Guild of India issued statements only for celebrity journalists. She had criticized the guild's silence on her issue. There was a complete silence from their side. Mukim had claimed in a post that the continued attacks on non-tribals in Meghalaya had gone unpunished, which had turned it into a failed state. Her case is a reflection of the larger threats to freedom of speech in the country. Now I shall leave the lead to Paramita.
Thank you, Sanskar, for calling me. Hello, everyone. I am Paramita Sahu, and you will be hearing from me about the most efficient solution of this problem. Coming to the most crucial part of this video, that is its solution. The major step to be acknowledged right now for the betterment of the future generation to come should be establishing effective courage, building methods targeting specifically our youngsters so that they can take a stiff stand against a violation when necessary to avoid this kind of situation in the future. To deal with the problems of the present scenario, firstly, we need to promote different methods of awareness so that everyone could express themselves freely without allowing themselves to violators to transcend their limits. Secondly, our most developed courage to take a stand for themselves and appeal to the higher authorities for justice. Whatsoever their decision might be, the appellant must not get disheartened and lose hope, but deal with it with utmost dignity and patience and keep on fighting and move on to even more superior authorities until and unless the ball is in their court. Now, I would like to call Selvi for the conclusion.
Thank you, Paramita, for calling me. Now, jumping to the conclusion, if freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led, like sheep to the slaughter. By this, we get that we are all not actually free, if we cannot express ourselves freely. Hence, it's high time we all should come forward in unity, speak up our mind fiercely, and take legal actions against those who try to suppress us and prohibit us from expressing our views and thoughts. This brings us to the end of this video and our assignment. We hope that this video helped you to enhance your knowledge and vision about our fundamental right to the freedom of speech. We would be very glad if you liked our perspective towards this topic. Now I'll call Vishwajit to take us to the end of this video.
Thank you everyone for watching this video. If you found the video informative, then please like, share and subscribe. And do leave your valuable comments or suggestions in the Google form attached below in the description box. One another thing, our team has uploaded 2 more videos previously. If you haven't watched our previous videos, then please go and watch. Links are given in the description box. Stay home, stay safe and get vaccinated. Thank you.